During Pokemon battles, I like the little bass guitar strumming. I don't know if you picked that up. Yeah. I was like, that was really cool. I was like, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host. I am your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Yes, hello, Dave.
Hi, Nick. With one question, Nick. Do you want to be the very best? That's the question.
That is the question, isn't it? Yes. I do want to be the very best, the best there ever was.
It's the catch them is the one true test. I think that's how it goes.
And to train them, you know this.
Yeah, I'll just say we could do this the whole thing, just the whole song back and forwards.
We could. I think the true test would be the Poke Rap.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm not that good. Damn, that's for those pros. Yeah, those are the pros. I'm guessing, ladies and gents, you can kind of guess what game we're reviewing today.
Yes, today, ladies and gents, we are going to be reviewing the brand new entry into, duo entry, as per the norm, into the Pokemon series, the world's highest grossing franchise, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, like I said, this is we've all grown up with these games, so that these ones, these hit different just because, wow, I can't even remember when the first one came out, but I remember I was a wee lad when I got it. You must have been a baby.
Not even sure if I was born yet.
No, don't say that. Damn it. Damn it.
No, I'm pretty sure I was. If this is going to make you feel better, I got some of the first games that I've ever played was a Game Boy Color that was handed down to me by my older cousin. And on this Game Boy Color, teal, I might add, is Pokemon Blue.
Oh yes,
the Game Boy Color cartridge with Pokemon Blue. It's got a coffee stain, but it's got Blastoise on it, and I didn't know what I was in for. So I also experienced nice. I also experienced this early age of Pokemon just at a later stage.
Yeah, well, it's magical whenever you do it. Fundamentally, I know it sounds like we're talking about fairy tales, but Pokemon strangely does have. It's in everyone's hearts, you know. Everybody has a story or a history with the game in some way or form.
Yeah. Or a favorite Pokemon.
No, exactly. Which we all know the best Pokemon is Jigglypuff.
No, it's Totodile.
Oh, come on. Jigglypuff has attitude. He can shut people up. He draws things on their faces. Hands down the best Pokemon in the world.
But Totodile's a crocodile, so there's that.
Yeah, but he's not the original 151. Like
That he's not. That's true.
But like you said, everybody has their favorite, it would seem.
Yes. The Pokemon games have come a very long way for a very long time, and there's a reason it is the highest grossing franchise worldwide. Yeah,
it's crazy how much money Pokemon's worth. Billions upon billions last time I checked.
Yeah. This franchise that got born from a video game, right? It was from a video game and not the series, because I usually get confused which one came first.
No, the video game came first, I believe, yeah. I think it's strangely enough, I think it was after the Tamagotchi thing. I may be wrong. I think I may be wrong again, but I think it was the whole Tamagotchis looking after pet thing was good, and then Nintendo just built upon the same premise of lots of different pets that you could battle and train. I'm guessing. I think
it would. No, it makes complete sense because Pokemon are essentially pocket monsters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured. Yeah, the translation.
And that does make a lot of sense if you think about it like that. Its origins and that. And this game, I think, did the Tamagotchi thing much better than Digimon World.
Oh, they did it so well. That's not hard to do, really. You could draw on paper, and there you go. You got a better one than Digimon World. No, yeah, they did. They got the formula right. They got the formula done so well.
From the start, that formula is just from the start. They're still using that exact formula.
No, exactly. So many of their games were the exact same premise, really.
Yeah.
8 trainers, a bit of Team Rocket, Team Magma, Team whatever, just to get in your way, become champion. That was basically the whole thing for about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 of their games, which
which
works.
And then the league.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Elite Four.
So, yes, today we're going to be having a nice big discussion on Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and I guess the entire Pokemon franchise by extension. That is a chunky conversation.
It is. It's a very, very big conversation. We're trying to keep it brief as much as we can, really, because that could go on for hours.
Yeah. I'm just gonna jump out and say it, and I think that Pokemon Scarlet, well, Violet as well, I guess, because they're essentially the same game, but I played Scarlet, is probably the funnest Pokemon game I've played in a very long time.
No, it is, like I said, but I can't remember. Did you play Arceus at all?
I did not play Arceus. I think the reason it's the funnest I've played in a while, it's probably because it's the only I've played it.
No, it's because you've had quite a decent break between, right? So you can actually
you
can really see the evolution from like the last Pokemon you played to like this Pokemon.
That's right.
But you're not wrong.
The last Pokemon game I truly played was Black and White in 2011.
Damn. If you still owned any of those are worth a fortune now. But yeah, Black and White was the first Pokemon game, which I think it was a sequel, right? Black and White 1
That's
and then
right.
Black and White 2.
A direct
was the first,
sequel, Black and White 2.
First time they did that. But yeah, like I said, you can then see the complete jump in gameplay and everything from Black and White to Scarlet and Violet now, which is a lot more fun. You're right. It is a lot more. It's good a change is always a good thing, so to speak, and you can see how much that's changed. And
very much.
They do. They even in this game, it differs from the previous one before it, which would, I don't know if you include Arceus, because I don't think it was made by Game Freak. This one was. I think the previous one would be Brilliant Pearl and Shining. I can't remember, Diamond. Or
Sword and Shield, right?
Yeah, Sword and Shield was before Brilliant Pearl and stuff. But yeah,
okay.
They still followed the same premise, the same narrative kind of premise, whereas Violet and Scarlet has now changed that all up. For the better, by all accounts. Like we were saying earlier, that they've now changed the premise. It's not just 8 gyms and take on the Elite Four, Victory Road and stuff like that. They've now changed kind of like 3 sub-stories, which I kind of enjoyed. There's helping out a bunch of bullies, kind of, a bunch of people who were bullied. You get to help out a guy who's got a sick Pokemon, and then you've also got to do the 8 gym thing, and you get to choose which path you take, which is a first. It's not that same linear story where you go from one town to another town.
That is
going to the gym.
Super nice. I really like that.
Yeah, you could go wherever you wanted, which is again pretty much a first. That's the mix up narratively and story wise, which never happened before. Which it is a lot more fun.
Yes,
it's a lot more, like I said, open. I'm sure it's all open world to some degree, but it does make it a lot more enjoying the discovery of new Pokemon compared to thinking, well, what's in this next town and what's in this next town. What do you think?
It's a nice spin on the formula, and I think it's a very good spin. And I keep thinking that it must have been influenced by how well received Arceus was.
Yeah, I think Arceus
being able to just have the freedom and the choice to do it like you want to.
Yeah, no doubt, because people have always been screaming for years for a MMO, haven't they, for Pokemon, so that you could go with your friends and they look like they're almost slowly building, at least maybe not to an MMO, but with that premise in mind with regards to the games now.
Baby steps, but it is getting there. It's in the right direction.
It is. It's like a lot of it. Even the mystery of the legendary Pokemon, the Koraidon and the Miraidon, and slowly powering them up from their original power form, so to speak. It's a fun little, again, like side narrative to continue to see where that gets you, which, like I said, the others were missing. So that narratively, it doesn't sound like much, but compared to what it originally was, this is Game Freak going deep. This is them, really writing a script for a game.
I keep being reminded that this game was made by Game Freak, and I don't have that high an opinion of Game Freak. The past loads of games they've made have not been that great at all, and they're not improving, but this does feel like the first improvement that they've made on a Pokemon game.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I agree.
You said Arceus was not made by Game Freak. Did they outsource?
I believe that's true, because I remembered that when Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl came out, Arceus came out literally like 2 months later. And
yes. Okay.
As a production company and a development company, that's very hard to do. And I'm pretty sure, I'd have to double check, I'm pretty sure Arceus was, like I said, a third party. A game.
I see.
Game Freak are just doing the mainstream, so to speak, the different colors, different gems, you know, the spiel.
Game Freak, they don't make. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to say what I'm trying to get across here, but my opinion on Game Freak isn't as good as other video game companies, such as like Naughty Dog. Right.
Wow, you chucked out you chucked up a behemoth game company there just to...
I'm sorry.
Bungie, there we go. That's a bit better. Jeez, comparing it to the narrative of Naughty Dog is a bit harsh. But yeah, and Game Freak only make Pokemon games, right? They haven't got another IP or anything, which is...
No, they don't need to make anything else.
No doubt. It prints them money, but like you said, you'd expect them to improve upon the series each time they release a game, and you're right, this is the first time that's really even close to happened. It's been a... Yeah,
this is the first time it feels like a step up in a while.
No, I agree. It really is. Which just goes to show that, you know, the mentality, there's... Like, I was reading a thing the other day that the Pokemon games have almost got the same mentality as the games themselves, that you've got to collect them all. Like, everybody wants to have the original games, the next games, and these games. So there's almost the same need to fill your Pokédex to fill your Pokemon collection, which is either just a perk or excellent marketing in some way, because that's genius. But anyway, narratively, like
probably,
I said, it does
I think that might just be the legacy of a franchise.
Yeah, that's true. And like I said, we've all played something, and we all want that feeling back to some degree. The awe of playing these games.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in narrative. I think another thing that I really liked in this game that I haven't gotten in the other games would be, well, they're in the other Pokemon games, but what they did much better in this game, in my opinion as well, is the characters.
Yeah.
Well, are the characters. First of all, I really like your, let's say, partner character in this game. In each Pokemon game, you've got a partner character, and
a lot of them can be really annoying. The partner character.
Exactly.
It's going to be so annoying. But continue.
Not only annoying, but annoyingly useless.
Yeah, they are.
You've got this best friend golden retriever type dude, and he's some of these characters are just pathetic. Come on.
A lot of them really
go to the toilet on your own. I don't need to hold your hand.
Yeah, and they always get in the way. Yeah, no, it's true.
In the way. It is very nice that from the start in this game, you get a partner character that is almost more capable than you are.
Yes, true. She's supposedly champion level.
Yes, Nimona, right?
That's it. I'm glad you remember the names, because for me, it's the young girl with green hair at the front of it. That's it. And she's got a weird arm brace. I want to know what happened to her arm. But anyway, yeah.
Weird?
Yeah,
I'm like, cool.
It is cool, but why is she wearing it? I have so many questions. But yeah, she is kind of cool.
To be cool, Dave.
Is that it? It's just to be cool.
I don't know.
I'm obviously too old.
I think it's one of those. It's one of those grips that help you throw a Pokeball.
Oh yes, okay. No, you're probably right. No, she is. Like I say, she's my favorite character so far. I must admit, in the game. Like I didn't like.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy that the character in this game that you converse with the most is cool and capable. That I don't have much more to say about. But I really like Nimona. I do. I
don't like Arven.
No, me neither. He's whiny.
Yeah, and he calls you like little. I can't remember, little pet buddy or little. God, he winds me up.
Yeah, the less I see of him, the better.
Yeah, but sadly he's quite throughout the game. But he's got a nice story to him, so I'll let him off.
I'm glad, and I'm glad there is an arc for him throughout this game.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
But why does he have that huge curl in front of his eye? Just take it away.
I think it's to how much have you taken on the Titans and stuff like that? You've seen?
No, not yet.
He's got a Pokemon that is fundamentally a dog, like a what are those Dulux sheepdog type dogs? And those dogs have their fur that are in front of their eyes.
Oh!
And I think his hairstyle is to mimic his favorite Pokemon, I think. And I think that's why it's all floppy and stuff like that.
No. Oh no. Are you going to make me like Arven now?
No. He is moany and he really isn't great. But his favorite
I like
Pokemon,
that detail, Dave.
Yeah.
But I like that detail.
Yeah, I think that's why it's like that. Because apart from that, his hair does look insane otherwise. So I'm going to go with that's why.
No, but that's cool. No, I'm fine with that now. I'm fine with that now. That's cool. That's nice.
But every guy in this seems to be wearing guy liner as well. Have you noticed that every guy's got guy liner on? That eyeliner is so dark, which is fine. It's just, why is everyone wearing them? There must be some sort of special going on.
Yes, guy liner being sold at all the Pokemon.
Yeah, must be.
You get a free tub each time you heal your Pokemon.
Yeah, like I said, it's everywhere. There are lots of times where I'm looking and I don't know, is this a guy? Is this a girl? I don't know. I don't mind. I just like to know who I'm talking to. Well, yeah, he's a pain in the ass. But a lot of the other people are quite fun. And as my wife says, the Pokemon Professor, he's hot.
He's hot.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the principal?
No. I think. Because you're playing, what you're playing? You're playing Scarlet. I think your Pokemon Professor.
We've got two different Pokemon Professors.
Yeah, I think yours is female.
That's right. Okay. And I've opened them up here.
Yeah.
I've got Professor Seda.
Yeah,
and you've got Professor Turo.
Yeah, and my wife thinks he's kind of good looking and.
Well, your wife's right.
I know. Right? She says forget Oak. Professor Oak. This is her type of professor.
Well, this guy's he's shaved the sides of his head. He's got some 5 o'clock shadow.
No.
I think your wife's right.
Yeah, like I said, I am complaining. I'm not fighting with her. Like I said, sadly, I don't get is the female professor. Is she good looking?
Professor Seda. She's got what looks like tribal clothes on.
Oh, is she waifu material though? Oh.
Oh,
wow.
This is definitely waifu material.
There you go. That's awful. The internet will blow up, I'm sure. All sorts of pictures of her soon.
I need to put my phone away now. It's definitely waifu material, and that's definitely what's the male version of waifu? It's not husbandu. Hubby material.
Hubby would be the English, but husbando would be the Japanese for the same thing.
Anyway, he's the equivalent of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So
it's good to know that there's some eye candy in Pokemon games too.
But we can talk about this in visuals, but the character designs, the entire environment. Oh, okay. When we get to visuals, I'll gush about that. But the characters in this game, they are good. I like it. Even Arven now, you've redeemed him with that tiny little detail. It's good.
Hopefully I'm right about that tiny little detail, but yeah, he is. Yeah. Like I said, it does match up.
Not only do I like the characters and the dialogue in this game, which the dialogue does seem fine, but the characters almost have been thought out to a point where they've got flaws.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no doubt. Especially there's like a bullying arc later on which you play out, and they're all flawed. Yeah, even
Team Star.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forget their names. Yeah, those. They've built some characterization, which is again quite rare for a Pokemon game.
It's nice. It's good. Nemona, who we've already gushed about enough, she likes Pokemon battles up until a point where it's almost a flaw. She likes them too much.
She does like them too much. Yeah, it's a bit brutal that she wants to fight her Pokemon all the time.
That is good character. Having a flaw, but still being likable.
Especially for a Pokemon game, I can't. Apart from rivals and Gary just being an ass all the time, there's not much else there. But this time, you're right. No. They're trying something new, which you can actually see in this game.
It gives them some depth, and I'm liking it a lot. I really do. Besides that, I also think the world building of this game was done quite well. There are some mysteries, and there are some quests out in the wild. The world building is good. There's a point in the conversation where you talk to the principal of the school.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't remember what happened. I think you show him Koraidon.
Yeah.
And he says something under his breath. I can't remember what it was. Like, oh, Professor Turo, I can't believe you did this. or whatever.
Yeah, I can remember.
But he
that,
said, right, and he says it under his breath. Nobody hears him, and it's not expanded upon until way later in the game.
Yeah, another mystery to unfold, right? Like some foreshadowing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Pokemon games don't do this.
No, this is the first. No, I agree entirely. The occasional legendary hunt in the other games, but the story is always quite linear. And there's loads of little stories like that you're looking for and thinking about and trying to find out the answers to, which is, like you said, is fun. And it's also good writing for the younger generation that aren't just going to be mind-numbingly going forwards. They actually can follow a story, which is, as a kid, I always really enjoyed following these little stories. And now that they're
I didn't even think about that.
Which I think is a really cool concept, especially for the younger.
I know each Game Freak releases, or the Pokemon Company releases as a mainline entry into the series, does up the visuals slightly each time. I think for Pokemon Sword and Shield was the first time they tried to attempt making it look like a console game.
Yeah, I believe that was the big jump. Yeah, that was the first Switch one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it pulled it off.
It's so hard. They've done some things right, and then something so wrong that, like I said, I wish I was the fly in the wall when they're developing these things, because I'd love to know how it went. Because let's face it, if you look, one thing I was checking, that the visuals aren't great, ladies and gents. They're not horrendous. I don't know if you agree or not. And then I looked at what's it called, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
And because that looks like a pretty game, and I wanted to see how that ran on the Switch, and to see if there was any limitations graphics-wise and stuff like that. And I've watched some gameplay footage of that, and it runs almost flawlessly. And that's got background texture, grass texture, we've got weather conditions, animals running around.
Okay.
But Pokemon's is bland. Did you not find it bland?
I found it I didn't find it bland. I found it colourful.
Yeah, it's a harsh word. Bland is a harsh word. Sorry, that is.
I found it colourful, but I did find it almost a bit too empty.
Yeah, that's just the same thing with Arceus.
They couldn't manage to get the Switch to load a full environment.
Yeah, which.
But as you said now, with the case of Xenoblade 3, they managed to pull it off.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, I really don't get it. Because if you look at Xenoblade 3's got that same aspect where you go in the wilds and there's monsters instead of Pokemon. So they've also got the hardware. They need to make monsters walk, dance, jump and down,
And these monsters are bigger.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, were they more graphically detailed? Maybe they're the same graphically detailed in some way. But it's all going on with high def, your character team of like 4 or 5 people. So you've got those characters also running with you. There's so much going on in Xenoblade that you'd presume it's more than what Pokemon is. And so if it can be done, it does. There's a big question mark why it hasn't worked or been done in this Pokemon games. It is confusing.
I am speculating that the reason each time is exactly the same, and my answer to that question, why it's not being done for Pokemon, is because of Game Freak. I'm glad Game Freak started this huge, massively influential legacy, but I don't think they're a good fit anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, like I say, it's. I've written down. I often mention it. I often think to myself, it's the one. Is it the 1 year crunch? And I'll mention that. Pokemon games are released 1 year after each other recently.
Yeah,
seems to be a thing. But then somebody else pointed out the other day that they've got $18 billion, or they're a multi-billion-dollar company. If anybody could hire all the people to crunch out a Pokemon game in 1 year, it would be them. They would be able to do it without even worrying about the bank account. So, like I say, I want to say, like I said before, doing a game in 1 year I find to be too little time. But when you've got their budget and this IP, it's kind of not a good enough excuse, because they could have hired twice the developers and twice the graphics designers and twice the composers.
It's not an excuse.
Yeah, it isn't. Like I said, I would be intrigued about Pokemon and Game Freak's future after this game, because it has historically come out to most people's opinions to be quite a mess, and that's the first time in history. So I wonder if Game Freak is going to be, I don't know, told off to some degree by Pokemon Company.
If not the Pokemon Company, I think Nintendo should step in, because this is a first party title.
Yeah, this is an IP you don't want to ruin or even tarnish. You know, this is.
But yeah, no, you're right. But then again, it makes millions and millions of dollars.
It's already the high. You know, it's one of these weird numbers which I always think it's clickbaity. They say it's the highest selling Pokemon game of all time, which it's true, but it's because there's. No, it's because there are more people playing games now. There are more people who've got Switches compared to people who had Game Boys. So of course it's going to be. You know, it's not really that impressive. If you gave me the numbers, Game Boy Color sales compared to Pokemon purchases, and then did the same now or something like that, I bet. You know, I always find it's the fastest selling Pokemon game in history. But I just think the gaming world we live in has now changed so much. That's not really that impressive. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just find it a bit strange because the game is broken. But anyway, visually...
It is. Yeah, but somehow we veered into performance.
Always do. Yeah, we always do. Like I said, I've got some pluses.
Yes, what are they?
I've noticed, and I don't know if I've missed it on Arceus, but I noticed when in Pokemon battles, the Pokemon actually have textures now. Do you see the birds are kind of feathery, and the water Pokemon are kind of scaly, and
I did not notice that.
Lizard Pokemon are kind of like leathery, you know, like sun-ish scales. I noticed that, and I think that's new. I thought that was kind of cool, finally seeing some definition between the Pokemon types.
Oh wow!
So I was like, that, yeah. Like I said, it's very strange that they did that. Like they added texture to the how many Pokemon in it. But they didn't do it like trees better, or rocks better, or you know, it's very strange. It is very peculiar. I don't understand.
I think it's the exact same snag that Platinum Games ran into with Bayonetta 3 that also came out recently. Mm-hmm. They had to decide, are they going to improve the environment or the character details, or what's going to be sacrificed so the other parts of the game can look nice. And they chose to sacrifice environment to make the character models look good. And I think that might be the same case for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah,
the environment took a hit so that the Pokemon character models can look good.
Yeah, I think you're possibly right. Yeah. But yet again, with this IP, I just don't think it's not really a good enough excuse, is it? I think you're right. I think you're right.
It's not.
But there were other little things I saw. Like I liked that. Did you notice that like bird Pokemon were now in flocks? You know, if you saw a fletchling, it was often with 5 other fletchlings around it, like birds would be naturally in nature.
Wow.
And there were some other things that were kind of the same with nature. They've now put into Pokemon games, which I kind of liked.
I feel there's a lot that I did miss that you're picking up on. And one thing I did really like was seeing more Pokemon integrated into human society.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the city, you would see Pokemon in the background doing chores or labor work.
Yeah. Like we're supposed
which I
to
always
be living
thought was
together.
cool.
Mm.
Yeah, but that you would see once or twice in a Pokemon game.
No, very much so. Yeah, you'd only see it on
What's
occasion.
the big stompy Pokemon with a cross on his face?
Metacross.
I think so.
The one with 6 legs and a big metal cross on his face, right?
Yes.
I think it's Metacross or something like that. Yeah, I'm not.
Is it in Diamond and Pearl where you find these Pokemon working in a quarry?
Yes, I believe that's right. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense, and I really like that detail. But you don't see that's probably one of 2 cases where you see that in the entire game.
No, that's true. Like I said,
right?
especially in the older generation games, you always used to see just like a little girl with a Poliwag or something like that randomly standing outside someone's house, and that was it. That was the integration in the old games. No, it is cool to see.
And I think the first case where I noticed this was Chansey working in the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Like
More of that, please. More of that.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I personally, maybe it's because I love books. I also kind of like the new Pokédex, where you get like a little picture and it's like a book on the shelf.
Ooh,
Did you like that?
That's nice. I did like that. That is, I noticed that the first time, and then I thought that that detail alone is going to make me try and fill out the Pokédex.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's my love of books or libraries or I guess it's everybody's. But the idea that you get like a neat little shelf compared to a little entry in a digital book type thing, I don't know why, but that just hits that hits the sweet spot for me. I just like the idea there's all these little books of the Pokemon on a shelf somewhere.
It looks nice. It looks appealing, and making one and then seeing it actually slide into this bookcase between other entries.
Yeah, exactly.
It's satisfying. It is satisfying.
It's like organizational porn, right? It's like just seeing it all neatly put together. Yeah, but yeah,
you are absolutely right. Game Freak did some things they did excellently.
Yeah, they really did.
It's so nice to see.
Okay, and
but
one
then
thing,
again,
this is a big thing. Did you like?
Okay, here we go.
Did you like the? I don't know how. I don't really terrorizing or what the hell it's called, and the weird and the hats, the weird like plants, or I swear one of them is like an axe.
Odd.
I don't like it.
Oh, it's weird.
I don't mind like the Pokemon turning crystal powered, so to speak. You know, because I can imagine the Pokemon will then team up with Swarovski or what the hell the crystal company is and pump a bunch of Pokemon crystals out. But those weird hats, I just, you know, you see it on a little Pikachu, the little fella should fall over. I don't understand the hats. The
you must know why they did this. You must know why they did this.
Go on and enlighten me.
Yeah, it's one word and it's all gonna fall into place.
Go on.
Merchandise.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, of course. But people.
That's the only reason they did this. You can sell these little crystal Pokemon, and then you can sell the hats separately.
Oh yeah, it's true. The hats separately. You got me there. That is very true. I can so see that happening. You know, you can buy the different Terra hats, so you can have different grass types for your Pokemon.
Yeah,
I like it. I just didn't like it. I must admit I didn't use, apart from the tutorial to use the Terra thing, I've not used it. I just don't like. No. I don't like visually it.
No, me neither. It's not. I mean, seeing crystal Pokemon is that is cool, right. But why the hats? Why these stupid hats?
No, I get you to show their different type, but you could just, I don't know, made the Pokemon a different color or something, or given it a different
or bring back the giant things from Sword and Shield.
Yeah,
was that Sword and Shield?
That was, yeah, you're right. The Gigamaxing or what they called it.
Gigamaxing, right? They had some of them had different forms. I think.
Yes, that's very true.
Gigamaxed Meowth had
that's right. It's really
clouds
stretchy.
Orbiting around his.
That's right. That's
torso. Right. That's funny. That's cool. That's creative.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was a miss.
A crystal light bulb on Pikachu's forehead.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's weird. Like anything else? What did you spot anything visually that I didn't? What else did you enjoy?
Okay, character designs.
So this is her arm brace, and I liked her little green.
Yeah.
I liked her green bangs. So I don't know what the hair thing for the girl. You know names.
All of it. Nimona.
I liked her little green bits. I thought I liked the Pokemon gym people. They're all pretty mental, which, like you said, it's pretty fun. It's always fun to see what kind of insane outfit or insane character is going to be the Pokemon gym person this time around.
Fun.
Yeah, it is.
This Pokemon game, it's just got fun capitalized all over it. All over it.
Yeah, I know. I agree that they are. It is quite fun to see who's next and why they're going to. They always incorporate their gym type in their outfit in some way. Like I remember.
Yes.
I don't know the names, but there's a grass type gym leader. And his hair is kind of like the thorns of a rose, or in England you call them a bramble bush. So he's got little thorns in his hairstyle somehow, with the use of hairspray. I don't doubt.
I haven't gotten to him yet.
Yeah, and each one always has a little aspect to their Pokemon type, which they've fundamentally done that in most Pokemon games. But it is always fun to see it translated into the new ones too.
I like that entirely. I think a lot of this game's looks evolved from previous Pokemon games, and the cartoony style that they're going for, it's always a hit.
Yeah, no, I think
it's forever going to stay appealing. That's why someone like Misty, right? OG Misty,
yeah,
with a crop top. That's why people still, how am I going to say this without sounding creepy, but still like the character design of Misty and Brock and Ash.
No, 100%. Like I said, I still, the Brock's closed eyes make him one of the most iconic characters in animation history. I don't understand it, but I like it. Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah,
it was.
They've always got a knack for character design, and it just continues the legacy in this game. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Since the last Pokemon game that I really played was Black and White, almost more than 10 years ago. This is the first one I've really started playing, and since then I've always taken for granted how not taken for granted, but I've found it part of the formula. We just run around in grass until an encounter happens, and then the screen goes blank, and then you fight a random wild Pokemon, right?
Yeah, correct.
This is the first Pokemon I've played where I can see the Pokemon roaming the wild in front of me.
Yeah, it's a lot better, right?
It is so much better. I'm not sure how Nuzlocke work now, but it is so good. I'm really liking it. And you can actually aim and throw your first Pokemon in line, and they'll run around and they'll collect a Pokeball, or they'll fight another Pokemon, or you can just chuck it at a wild Pokemon to immediately initiate a battle.
That's right.
This is what I was hoping Pokemon would turn into.
Yeah, it's strange enough those mechanics were mainly developed in the Arceus game. The Arceus was
okay. I've never played Arceus.
A little bit more. You could actually aim your Pokeball, but apart from that, all those things were the same as Arceus. And you're right, it is. But it's also, I always find it really weird how it's taken this long for that to now be included.
Yeah.
If you think how long the games have been out, it's taken this long for you to be able to throw your own Pokeball. It's a bit. Yeah. It's a bit crazy, but you're right. It is a lot more immersive, and if you miss and all the other things, and granted, what drives me a bit mental is when you're riding on your Pokemon, I forget its name again, and then you accidentally ride into one of the little Pokemon that you can't see on screen, and you're like, oh god damn it, it's that little weird little tooth poisonous thing again.
Just run over him.
Yeah, exactly. Why does he not just go
flatten him?
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it is a lot more immersive.
You're right. Why? This could have been done a long time ago. 7 years ago. 7 years ago, we finally managed to glide around Gotham and jump into the Batmobile.
No, exactly.
Flatten thugs.
Yeah.
That was that 7 years ago, or was that 6 years ago? We were able to fight, and we were finally able to fight an eldritch fetus. As a gothic horror character.
That's true. We've all wanted to do that, I'm sure. But you're right.
I don't get it. What's the other one? 18 years ago, we were finally able to drive a dune buggy down a beach, flattening antlions on our way to a jail. But now we can finally throw a ball in Pokemon.
Yeah, it doesn't. Granted, thanks for the Half-Life 2 memory. That was one of my favorites. But you're right. It is amazing how copy and pasted the games originally were, and we as consumers just ate them up without much change.
They did.
The couple few Pokemon, we just ate them up, and now we can finally throw a Pokemon ball, which is, like I said, we're all enjoying it, but it is a bit balmy that it's taken this long. But it is, like you said, visually it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun seeing your little Pokemon run around, just like ironically just knocking out Pokemon all around you. It's quite satisfying.
If I can stare, if I can, I just want to see my little Wigduck.
Yeah, please. That's right.
Just have him run around, plop, plop, plop. That's more than enough for me.
Yeah, that's a fun outing. Audio, again, just like visual, was kind of hit and miss for me. Like I said, I always try. I'm trying to look for the good bits, and it was hard.
Did you find any?
It was hard. There was one. I've got one. I've literally got one written here, and I know this is going to be a very personal thing. But during Pokemon battles, I like the little bass guitar strumming. I don't know if you picked that up. Yeah. I was like, that was really cool. I was like, yeah.
I noticed that as well. Do you know what that is?
No, what is it?
It's a fretless bass guitar, and that is the signature sound of a fretless bass guitar, and it always sounds cool. I really like that they added a fretless bass guitar. It is.
Yeah, it's almost grown up.
Yeah.
It's finally a grown-up song to Pokemon battling, because I was like, yeah, this is actually really cool. I was like, yeah, I don't care what attack I'm doing. I'm just listening to that as you say, fretless bass guitar. Yeah, lay it out, mate. I was like, whoa.
Just calm down, Quaxley. I'm vibing.
No, exactly. Just shut up. I'll give you your move in a minute. Just listen to him go. Yeah, just listen to it. No, I don't know why, but I picked up on that moment, and it is really good. Like, I'm like, damn, it's about time.
Yeah. No, I liked it a lot, but sadly for me, that is the only good criticism I've got of the audio of this game.
Like,
what have you got?
And I've told you this before. There's one part, and it's again we've mentioned that with so many iterations of this game, I don't find it acceptable that there's no audio anymore, as in spoken audio.
Oh, voice acting.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. Even in indie games and far lower budgets. And in this game,
there's no reason.
It's even disjarring. There are bits where, you know, when you're in the cave and you're trying to get out from the Houndoom and Houndour that are attacking you and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
There are parts where you can hear your Miraidon or Caradon breaking the rocks and him going "Rrr!" But then when the young girl shouts at you to look up here, it's just silent, and you get the visual text at the bottom, like
no game freak.
I'm like, that's so jarring that you can't have all the Pokemon around me making noises with their environment, but everybody else is like these. I don't know, whispering. I don't know what's going on in this world, but no one is making a noise. And I just don't think that's right anymore. Because there are
It isn't.
You could get voice actors for
everyone
nothing.
is clamoring. They are begging Game Freak. Come just add voice acting. Just do it.
Lots of people have mentioned that it's the fact that Pokemon, and I don't understand this, Pokemon don't own the rights to the voice acting in the anime. You know, when the Pikachu and the Sai, you know, supposedly Funimation or whoever did the Pokemon animes, they own those sound effects, and in theory,
is it Koei Tecmo?
Yeah, possibly, more likely, and the voice actors. But I think it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Buy them. Who
cares? Buy them, or just do different voice acting.
Yeah, or do different voice acting. I don't think anyone would care if the voice acting for the game wasn't the same as the anime. No, I really don't think they would.
Having those horrible GBA sound effects for
exactly.
Pokemon or whatever.
That's right.
That's worse.
Yeah, I would love
that. Is worse.
I'd love my Psyduck to go Sai and all that. That would be brilliant. And all the other ones. Okay, so there's Pokemon. This game is unique that it's got Pokemon voice acting and human voice acting. Yes,
that it needs.
It really does.
It does need it.
It's looking old.
Right. Which I don't get, because there are different things. Come on, this can't be the highest grossing franchise in the world. We are now only able to throw a Pokeball. There's no voice acting. We are hearing GBA sound effects for all the little Pokemon. This can't be it. This isn't it, Chief.
It isn't right. It really isn't. And like we were saying before, you know, the characterization and all those things. How much better would it if you found out one of them had a deep voice, or one of them was Australian, or something like that? It would be so much more immersive and so much. It
would. Oh wow! I want to make my own Pokemon game and just do it much better now.
Yeah, we'll just do sub. We'll just do like the dub for it and just release that on the internet somewhere. Just us doing accents.
There has to be a mod where someone has dubbed the entire game. There has to be a mod.
It is insane. It is. I know I sound angry, but it is unacceptable. I've been playing so many little indie games who, I don't know, had all their friends do the voiceovers and stuff. And the idea,
got a tiny, minute budget compared to the 100%.
And they still not doing it. It's just, it ain't right. I'm sorry, it just isn't right. What did you pick up audio-wise?
If I can compare this to the last entry in the Legend of Zelda series, right? I don't know if you know this, as someone who's not played Zelda at all. Shame on you. It didn't have voice acting either, right? The last one, Breath of the Wild 2017, was the first entry where it had voice acting.
Ah, yes, that makes... Yeah, again, new generation, new graphics fidelity, voice acting makes sense. It
got voice acting. Skyward Sword was the exact same on the Wii U or the Wii. Right. It did not have voice acting. It was just text boxes the entire game. It was dated. It was old. Nobody liked it. And then Breath of the Wild came with voice acting. What? Princess Zelda has a voice actress.
Yeah, I know. That, like I said, perfect. Like
and
I said,
it was good.
And it does it. And with today's... Again, I've said it, for today's, it's not acceptable. You can't release all these little games and other games all voice acted. And let's face it, there's you and I both said we want to be voice actors. We'd love to be voice actors. There's got to be a plethora of people who would happily voice act.
Oh, yeah.
And probably do it cheaply, especially if they're in a Pokemon.
Right.
It can't be a hard thing to sort out.
No, it's not. If I can bring back Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
You've heard the voices in those games.
Oh yeah,
that game, that series. I think a big part of what made it famous is the voice acting, the accents that they use. Right?
Yeah.
How would you describe those accents?
Well, it's one of the weird things is I'm playing
UK accents.
Yes, they are. I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and it shocked me because they're all British. I'm like, whoa.
And at first, it was due to budget constraints, but it struck a chord with people, and they kept it like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. It makes sense, because now your world has that accent. That's the dialect of the world you're going back into.
That's part of the world building.
Yeah, and it's brilliant. Again, it's. I know in Xenoblade it can be a bit annoying, because they keep repeating the same sentence in battle. But apart from that, it's... Like I said, it's so much better, and it's so... I can't imagine any other game. Even Mario kind of speaks, you know.
Kind of. That's right.
He's always doing something. But I just don't think. I don't think it's forgivable anymore. I don't think
it's not. It's not.
And like you said, maybe Game Freak isn't the company to do the Pokemon games anymore. Like I said, they should speak to Naughty Dog. I'd like a gritty, mature Pokemon experience, you know, with death and upheaval and stuff like that.
But they've clearly taken inspiration from Breath of the Wild, right? With the entire open world, with the gameplay. There's clearly some inspiration between Breath of the Wild and Arceus. I just don't understand why somebody actively decided, when they looked at Breath of the Wild, it being the first entry in the Zelda series that has voice acting, somebody actively decided, no, this game is going to be worse off with voice acting.
Yeah, or like I said, it just sounds...
Somebody decided that.
Yeah, it sounds like greed. Voice acting would cost us an extra $100,000 or whatever.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Let's save that for our pockets or for the New Year's party or something like that.
No,
it isn't right.
Chief. The music in this game isn't good. The music and sound effects, for that matter, it's not good. The first time that the game started and I was in the point of view of Koraidon flying, more careening through the air, it felt like two separate tracks were playing at the same time, and they weren't in the same key. It felt like a cacophony. Well, it sounded like a cacophony, and it didn't sound... That was probably the point, because Koraidon eventually crashed into the beachfront, but... It didn't sound great at all. It was not... You can make something sound chaotic and before a crash and have it still sound good. This did not sound good.
And yet again, with their budget, it's ridiculous that like I say, I don't know who the composer of these games are. And like you said, because of your background, you hear these things. Of course, I wouldn't have spotted that at all. But I must admit, right now, I couldn't even tell you what the music is. It's that forgettable. You know, I've been playing it and stuff like that. I could not, apart from the battle sequence music, which is a banger, I can't tell you. I can remember any of the music that's played in the backgrounds, which is...
I totally agree. Besides that fretless bass guitar, everything else is just it's a negative. That's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Yeah,
even the sound effects. Did you notice the sound effects
in regards to attacks and the like?
Everything. Menu options, attacks, hits dealt, menu options, they are all recycled.
Yeah, I was about to say they're the same noises. That weird whenever you hurt them a lot. It doesn't matter what attack you're using, it's that same noise and stuff like that. No, you're right, those are the exact same sounds.
And I know it's part of the formula, but please, Game Freak, no.
Yeah, it's supposed to mix it up a bit, you know, so that it feels fresh and new. Like, put in more fretless bass guitar. I don't do the whole thing with, I don't know, fretless bass. I don't know. Like I say, I'm obviously just enjoying that sound too much, but you're right. It's too much.
It's a weird mix.
You can almost see the people going back into their 2020 folders and grabbing the sound effect for fainting and the sound effect for throwing a Pokeball and stuff like that, and just copy and pasting it across to, I don't know how it's that simple, but that's what you can almost picture.
There's one computer in Game Freak that are just, it's put on top of a pedestal, it's still running Windows XP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
And it has all the sounds.
They're still asking that paperclip for help. Like old Clippy or whatever. Clippy's like, how do I do this, Clippy? Oh yeah, I remember. You know,
I didn't like the audio of this game. If it wasn't for that fretless bass guitar, I would have given it a much lower score.
Yeah, and the same. And if there was audio, it would have got a far better score for me.
Right?
I could have forgiven a lot. Yeah.
If I could hear Nemona's voice.
Yes, entirely, and just some accents and some, you know, age and
something.
All of it.
Something. They don't need to be American. You're right. Some of them could be Australian, right? If the ground type gym leader is Australian, that would be perfect or something.
Yeah, there was
or even the bug type.
There's some Netflix series, I don't remember what it is now, an anime, and they've done this weird thing where they've actually made the elves Australian, the dwarves Irish, and the higher humans just posh English, and it's really got a good.
Ooh,
you feel the race difference, if you know what I mean, just because
that's interesting. Well, there cultural differences, right?
It's a fantastic. When I say race, I just mean elf and dwarf. But,
right. So, sorry about that.
But it's got such a. It's so good. It's so good to hear that. And like you said, if you could go somewhere and the electric type Pokemon is this, I don't know, gnarly surfing dude with an Australian accent, but the ground type is a gruff, like engineering, hardworking, like, I don't know, like Thanos type voice. It would be so good.
There's no sand type, right? It's ground type.
Yeah, correct, ground.
I don't know. They could be Middle Eastern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect. Just, you know, like Overwatch did so well. All those accents just put into a Pokemon game would be brilliant. Like, it would be so good.
Yeah,
and
that is a fantastic idea.
Nemona.
I would buy that Pokemon game.
Like, Nemona, if I'm not mistaken, is Hispanic or something, right? Because she uses...
she's Latin.
Latina. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. You know, get a nice Latino voice actress to do it. Brilliant. That'd be excellent.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And it's all written there. Like, they've literally done the writing the slang writing for Spanish and the slang for... It's all written there. But they don't use the voice. I don't know. It still just winds me up.
Okay.
Sorry.
What? I think we've got enough rips on the audio. Another. Geez, this episode is huge.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gameplay. This fundamentally still uses the same formula from the very start.
The whole rock paper scissors aspect, right?
Yes. But I think it adds enough.
Yeah, they don't want to overly complicate these types of games.
No, I think it adds enough with the open world, with the Pokemon out in the wild, with you able to throw your Pokemon while you're roaming. And I know it's a tiny detail, but I really like the fact that if you're battling a trainer, it doesn't cut to a separate battle arena. You're just fighting them there on the road.
Yeah. It plays out on whichever terrain you're actually standing on at the time you fight them, right?
I don't know if it was like that in Arceus.
Yes, it was to some degree. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of that I can chalk up to Arceus. I like that.
It's a lot better.
I hate it each time it goes to a different battle arena. It didn't feel real.
Yeah, you lose the immersion, don't you, when it goes to that little fade out and fade back into a battle screen. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
All that I would like more is if you're battling a trainer out in the path, whatever, if you did that in a tiny bit more populated area, like a road that is traveled, if you could start to gather a tiny crowd.
Oh, that would be cool. Yes,
and people on the side would be throwing hands, cheering, clapping, whatever.
No, that would be very cool.
So much more immersive.
That would be very cool. No, I agree. I didn't even think of that. And I like Pokemon battles in town as well. I know there was one or two, but and it's another strange mechanic, which I can see they're slowly fading away. But the idea that you get money when you win, I still find that really weird. You go to like a little boy who's 6, you kick his little Pokemon's ass, and then you just put your hand out, and go, come on, where's your pocket money? I won
$20.
I just feel, which they feel like they're fading that out because you also got league points in this, which you could also purchase and stuff with. But I always find it really weird when you get the money. And also, another really weird surreal, the amounts are really strange. Like, it's never like 100 or 50. It's always like 32 or 129 or 312. I don't know why, but I keep going, why that amount?
Was that really the amount they had on them?
Yeah, is that literally was that their bus ticket home? What am I doing to these people?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, the gameplay.
I didn't even think about that.
Like I said, there was lots about the gameplay. I liked, like you were saying earlier, that you can throw your Pokeball out and you can have it battle just so that you could mine materials so that you can make your own TMs, which is also a new concept in Pokemon. Right. That's not in any other one. Right. So you mine all the different materials and then you can make a Volt Tackle or Metronome or Psychic, which I think that's a fun little collecty aspect, which is new, and I also like that that's the new collecting mechanic, and they made a mechanic to do that quickly, because the idea that you'd have to fight each one in a Pokemon battle would have made that really slow. So it's, again,
yeah, definitely,
there are aspects of this game they thought out, and other aspects they just let sit or reuse from old games, which is just really bizarre. It
still uses the entire Pokemon formula, but bar the terrestrializing, I think they've added enough to make it feel fresh. I might be in the minority who thinks like that, and I probably do think like that because it's been a decade since I've really played a Pokemon game. But that is what I think. I think it does feel fresh enough to justify a brand new game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And there's another aspect I know you haven't been able to do is the multiplayer, which I found shockingly really good. I found this, like, I played the multiplayer in, like, Let's Go Pikachu. That was kind of useless. The multiplayer in Sword and Shield let you play multiplayer, but only in the wilds. You couldn't go into the towns to some degree. But this one, and you can, especially, and I only did it locally, but for this one, you can just sit with your buddy or your sister, your friend, whatever, and you can connect wirelessly between the two, local connection, and you can play on their version of the game. So if
that's great.
Like in different games, you can only catch, so they leave out a few Pokemon, so you can only catch a Growlithe here and only catch a Chansey there. You can now jump into somebody else's game and go catch those Pokemon that you'd be missing in your Pokédex.
What?
And you can just leave. You can go in, say hi, trade, and then you can go to one town and they can go to another town. And it just works. And then you come back and meet up or whatever.
It's so weird.
Yeah, they've done good work.
The differences in this game is all over the place. Some of them are really good and some of them are horrendous.
And let me note, you also don't need the Nintendo subscription to do the local connectivity.
Local?
Yeah, I'm sure online, if you want to jump into somebody else's game, we'll do the battling online. But if you do the local, like, Bluetooth wireless connecty type aspect, which I'm sure they use, that you don't need the subscription, you don't need the Pokemon $50. So you don't have to have that extra. Everybody, especially with consoles today, every time you want to do anything online, you think you've got to subscribe to the subscription service. This you don't need for local connection. And it's as good. It's brilliant. You can literally play their version of the game. I can't say you can continue the story. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't go that far. But it is very good. I am... Yeah, again, like you said, it's shocking how good this is and what they've left... what they've left behind. It's really, really strange.
It's bizarre. I don't get it. But I do think the gameplay for this game is going in the right direction. I like that. I mean, the formula they've got, it's not a bad formula.
No,
I do like it, but it does need to evolve. Yeah. And I think this is the start of that.
Yeah, they are at least making steps forward. They are from the generic, the ones that we all know and love, but they are making forward movements, evolving wise. Some of them not enough, but in regards to gameplay.
Yeah, like at the start of this game, on your first day of school, I think it's Nimona. Nimona just puts on your map the locations of all 8 gyms.
That's right.
And you can just go there.
Yeah. Which is, like you said, it's excellent. It's the first.
It is. It gives the player choice. It trusts you enough to let you play the game how you want to play the game. That is good. That is treating you like... That is not treating you like a kid, like a child.
No.
I'm not going to go as far and say this game treats you like an adult. We're not there yet.
But it lets you choose your adventure, right?
Yes. It's good.
No, and it's like you said, it does do a lot of things good, and it is doing a lot of different aspects. Like the open world thing is a first. Arceus didn't have that. You unlocked areas you could go to which were relatively open. But this one... And this one is somewhat... Some areas are somewhat locked because you've got to level up your vehicle. Like, eventually it can fly, it can climb mountains and stuff like that. I found some Pokemon gyms you couldn't get to, which makes sense because you would have been so under-leveled. You know, you'd be a level 30 and you want to go to that gym in the corner and that's a level 60, so they put it behind a mechanic you had to unlock by... But it isn't just...
Geolocked.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Which works. Lots of other games have done exactly the same thing, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, that's much, much better than invisible walls.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Though those you can't go here yet, come back when you're level 30 or any of that nonsense. No, it is doing steps forward. Just one step forward and then 2 steps back in some regards. It's really strange.
No, Game Freak. I was telling a friend the other day while I was playing this game, another Pokemon enthusiast, that this game is the first game that feels like a Pokemon game made for console and not a handheld system. Sword and Shield still felt like the tiny amount that I played still felt like a handheld game that was just ported to a home console. I didn't play Arceus, but this feels like the first Pokemon game made for home consoles.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just like Zelda to some degree. It's got that same jump in and fight this bad guy, jump in, go, you know, the adventure aspect, which is again more pronounced on consoles than it is on handheld. Handheld is more quick 20-minute bursts of play and then stop and go back to work fundamentally. But no, yeah, it is, and you can. Again, you can see it in one way, and then you put it on your big TV, and you think, "Whoa, I think this looked better when it was on the little screen."
Right, maybe. I tried this on a monitor, a 1080p monitor, and it looked much, much better.
Oh,
than on my 4K TV. So the 1080p monitor, I think that is what Switch games are best played on.
I'd be surprised if it was anything more. But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. You touched on a point that I think really this game is starting to do quite well, and that's turning the entire game into a real adventure. Right? The previous games, it did do that, although it felt linear and a bit limiting and restrictive. But this game is the first time I do feel like, besides Arceus, because I've not played Arceus, it feels like a real adventure.
No, I agree. It's
right. You've got more context than this. How do you feel about that?
It's. I agree that it's got that. There's a lot more where you can, like my wife. She's balmy, but she just likes to throw Pokemon balls at Pokemon. She just finds it funny to like. There's a weird bit in Arceus where you get to aim it, and she would be so delighted if she just smacked the Pokemon in the face with a Pokeball. But that's what I mean. In these games, you can actually be silly for hours if you want to, which other games, randomly generated. Yeah, and there was other games you take 3 steps and it's another random encounter. Then you take 6 steps, another. There was a frustration to it. There was a like, oh, where's my repel? Everybody give me max repel so I can go from one place to B. Where you don't have that here. There's a lot more discovery, like you said. Like there's the adventure aspect of discovering. Oh look, there's a beach down there, and what's on there? And then you find that there's a Gyarados.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa!
Yes, real discovery.
Yeah, and that's Arceus had it to some degree, but this one has it a little better because Arceus always had these aggressive Pokemon that could actually knock you out, which was kind of cool, but eventually got really annoying. I remember
baby steps in the right direction.
Yeah, I was on a beach with like 12 Octillery, and they all knew Hyper Beam. And I was like, damn, this was like a Dragon Ball Z scene. I was being shot at everywhere. It was crazy. But yeah, it is a lot more adventure-y. And again, 1 step forward. But sadly, too many steps back.
I do. One final thing that I liked from this game is, in the previous Pokemon games, there was a very clear distinction between when you are out on a route and when you are in a town.
Yes, correct. Yeah, the little name signs that would come up each time, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Besides the big city, I think Mesagoza, and outside Mesagoza, there's no hard cuts between when you are in the wild and when you are in a small town. It's all very neatly integrated into each other.
Yeah, no, there is, and there's even little tented areas and little like ruins that were buildings there before, and you find a Pokeball in or something along the likes. But yeah, you're right. It blends in what you would expect the real world would be like, right?
Yes, this path through the forest turns into a bigger path.
Yeah.
And then a paved path, and then a road, and then all of a sudden you are in a town where there are people roaming around, there's a Pokemon, and then on the other side of town, it's another path that leads through a mountainside or whatever, and it's all just beautifully integrated into each other.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. But
that aspect of the gameplay, I really, really liked. It's different from other Pokemon games.
I didn't notice that, but yeah, you're right. It does have that blending of what it would hopefully, or what we'd all love it to be in real life. And they do, like I said, I can picture it like you remember the old games like Viridian Forest. You literally had to go through a tree gate to go into it, so it had that segmented aspect where, like you said, now you go into a trees, you're in a forest, which could eventually make you go to a beach or a mountain or a snowy top or a tented area, or randomly you'll find a town. If you don't look at the map, that is. There is, like I said, they've done the adventure part quite well.
And I really like that. It also does make me excited for future Pokemon games. Maybe not the next 1 or 2, because it's, again, just going to be some more baby steps. But 5 years, maybe even a decade from now, these games could finally be what we want them to be. Other games are going to be miles ahead.
Yeah, no, always are. They seem to always be. But like when I'm in my 40s, they finally make a Pokemon game that I want to play. That's a surreal statement right there.
What? The trainer said, "I choose you." Finally,
my Pikachu actually says Pikachu when he attacks. Yes, it only took 30 years.
Oh man. We might finally get a good Sonic game as well.
Oh yeah, well Frontiers isn't doing too bad, but not my cup of tea.
I heard the same.
Anyway, should we go into the one everyone's been waiting for? Performance.
Performance. Right. You've got a lot more to say in performance than I do. You've played more of this game, but
it's one of those things where, like, I don't know why, but there's one of those things when something is so buggy, it's almost charming. And this has happened to me with this game. There are aspects to it that, don't get me wrong, it is too buggy it is a problem. It is unacceptable. And I've heard lots of people are actually getting refunds. You can actually, if you've got, you know, a certain amount of hours and you didn't like the bugs, you can actually get refunds on this because, understandably so, there are things that are just so wrong. Again, I go back to Xenoblades when I look at it, and then I look at this game, and I just think, oh, what? Did they both get 2 different dev kits? I don't understand. But there is something hysterical about Pokemon's bugs that are almost, I don't know, for me, I've almost found them charming. You know, I had one random one, I was just fighting a Pokemon, and then a Tauros just ran into the screen and then stood in between us as we battled. And in my mind, I was like, oh, look, Tauros doesn't want us to battle. He's obviously a pacifist. Oh, poor little Tauros. Like, it was like, he obviously saw us fighting and wanted to stop us.
That's a fun way to look at it.
Yeah. And I had another one where...
I think...
Go on.
I've also got one.
Yeah.
In the starting town where you and your mum and Namona's living, there's a cliff edge looking down onto the ocean.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's quite far down, and all the way down there into the ocean was a Magikarp.
Yeah.
So how battling in this game works is if you can hit the Pokemon with your Pokeball, you're going to enter a battle with this wild Pokemon.
That's right.
I was able to actually throw this Magikarp way down there with my Quaxley.
Oh, wow, really?
And yes, and it actually entered an entire battle. Yes. The hilarious part was the only ground there was down there was the cliff edge.
Whoa! I understand. Whoa, that must have been...
So Quaxley was almost standing on this vertical wall.
Yeah, I can picture the camera angle now.
Yeah. Quick attacking this Magikarp in the water. And I was thinking in my head, oh yeah, Quaxley's got web feet.
That's true, it's true. I don't have to work out, right?
And it almost made it more hilarious. So I get exactly where you're coming from with this.
It's charming. I had a random shopping bag just walk through the screen. It's this white shopping bag, which I can only presume there was a woman or a man holding it, just came floating through, and I was like, whoa, it's windy here. Don't get me wrong.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating through the
wind?
No, start again?
Exactly. Yeah. It's not right, but there's a degree that is so hilarious. Like there's later on there's a gym where you have to collect 10 Sunflora, and then take them to like a gated area, and that's quite fun because they jog behind you and they're all happy. And then I realized I collected 10 and I was down to 9, and I was like, where's my other Sunflora gone? And so I went back, and he was stuck on the house. It was like that whole like Roach moment from Witcher 3. He was just stuck on that roof, and I was like, how am I going to get you down though? And it was, if you go like seriously, some of this stuff is just so wrong. There's one where there's windmills everywhere, and the watching the windmill go round, it lags so hard. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and that's just a simple.
Almost like it's a digital windmill.
Yeah, it's like you said. Yeah, you can basically count the seconds as it goes, as the.
Wow.
No, it is, and it is. These aspects are unacceptable, and You must have seen the frame rates when you were just seeing Pokemon in the distance.
Of course.
You'd see them lag and jump.
Not even far in the distance, but in my classroom. This game's got a huge boarding school vibe throughout it, like Hogwarts.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Even in class, when it's the perspective of me standing in front with the teacher, the back of the classroom, which isn't that far away, the students kicking their legs would be very laggy.
Yeah, there's lots of it. There's lots of clips of that.
2 frames a second, and it's not that far away. It's the back of the classroom.
Yeah. No, and like I said, again, I'd love to be on that wall, the dev wall, and just thought, what?
Yes.
What? There is a causality to this. I'd love to know what it is. I'd love somebody to say, oh, we made a mistake, we didn't put enough effort in, or if there was a software issue or something, because it's throughout the game and it's non-stop.
Yeah.
So it was. They all knew this. They knew this when they released it. There's no way
they did. This
is a shock to anyone.
They knew it.
Which is not right. Like we all know about PC games that they release them and then they just patch them, which is not right for the consumer. And again, this isn't a game that runs properly. And there are plenty of examples of games that do and look like they use the same level of software design and all this. You know, it's still running smoothly-ish, but this just does not run well, and it's bizarre. It really is. To send this out, I understand the Christmas rush and all the other the multi. They want all their money, but to send this out is a joke, and it's like you said earlier in the podcast on this IP, this game, this everyone's fundamental favorite, or at least got a history with it. To send it out this broken, and there were other things. I saw on the internet somebody had a Pokemon trainer who was giving them the thumbs up, but their elbow was broken in half, so the thumbs up was a thumbs down because the hand was pointing downwards. And I don't even know why or how those things happen or what, but there are so many. There are so many glitches in this.
I don't get it, because this was published by Nintendo, or was this published by the Pokemon Company?
Oh, I'd probably say it's the Pokemon Company. Now I come to think of it, I'm trying to picture.
I've got the box with me right now, and on the back near the bottom, it's got an actual stamp that reads "Original Nintendo Seal of Quality."
Yeah, and I was looking at the boxes,
which is very, very far from the truth.
Yeah, this
is a first-party Nintendo title. They'd never released games with as much bugs as these.
Oh no, entirely. This is weirdly a first in Nintendo, to my knowledge, in Nintendo history. I can't think of another buggy Nintendo game.
I can only imagine they would step in after this and
I'd hope so.
Say to Game Freak, that's enough. That is the last straw.
Yeah, I'd hope so, because it's
give this to someone else. Maybe they're in-house developers.
Yeah, I haven't found. There's nothing buggy in there that I found game breaking. Like I also haven't seen on the internet like this quest doesn't resolve, or this gym doesn't give you a badge or something like that, which would break the entire premise.
Yeah.
But there's so even the waves and the Pokemon within it, and I can't remember. There's these big fish Pokemon things, and I was just about to jump into the water, and then 6 just randomly appeared in front of me. No. And they're not small, so I thought this was like a new gimmick. Like, whoa, it's like a raid attack or something. But no, they were just all in the way, and then I had to go back to the beach and then go round them after that. It's bizarre. It really is very strange, and I will keep looking on the internet, because I'd love to know the reason, because there is one. There's no
Oh, definitely. But I mean, the conversations around this game is dominated by how buggy and glitchy and incomplete this game is. Nintendo's not going to let that slide.
You'd hope not.
If it weren't for these bugs, which was totally in the developer's fault. If it weren't for these bugs, the conversations around this game would have been much, much different.
Oh, massively different.
And I think Nintendo cares about that.
It's like I've heard lots of people are saying a new Switch needs to be released now, because people are assuming that it's the Switch's hardware problems compared to the Pokemon, which I don't agree with. If you watch the next Zelda game that comes out, the Switch, I bet you it will be, knock on wood, beautiful. And almost, it's going to be at least as good as Breath of the Wild, and then some, because you've got to one up the original.
You've got to.
I mean, and it's just not
conversation. Right. Anyway, sorry.
I was just saying it's not right. The idea that you've got all those other development studios, and yet again smaller studios making games for the Switch, and you've got the multi-billion-dollar corporation that's. Like I said, the amount of people that knew that this was a buggy mess when it released, and some CEO or some vice president said, "No, send it. We need the money back. We need Christmas. We need to get this out there."
You don't need the money.
No, exactly. It's it needs to correlate with the release of the cards, I'm guessing, and I guess I bet you there's a Pokemon anime or a cartoon coming out, and it needs to go alongside. I bet you they got this really strict release schedule.
Merchandise, that's what it is.
Yeah, again, the merchandising side. But it's so buggy. It's worse than Skyrim, which I'd never thought I'd say. But it is worse than Skyrim, this game, and has less reason to be, because PCs are so random in their hardware, software, and all the other jazz. It is harder to make a perfect PC game than it is to a console, which is a strict hardware spec. There is no randomness to what it can or can't do, to some degree.
Yeah.
No, like I said, there are tons of other bugs. There are people who... You can duplicate Pokemon quite easily now using a bug within the game. You can manipulate the amount of items. If you want 1,000 Ultra Balls, you can just do a little...
I'm sure they are just...
It is riddled. It is riddled. But yeah, if you want to hear more, just look on the internet. There are entire videos of just hours of people adding montages of Pokemon Scarlet bugs or Violet bugs. Yeah, it's just... It ain't right.
Definitely not from a franchise as lucrative as Pokemon. But anyway, have you got anything else on performance?
Not really. No, we'll just be flogging a dead dog, so to speak. Sorry, it's a weird analogy.
The final bit is a very interesting one, which is the value for money. And it's got one big flaw that it's been doing since the very start. Just this one huge flaw. But then again, it's got other parts of it where it sort of justifies the value for money. The big flaw I'm talking about, I'm sure everyone knows this by now, is that Pokemon, each release is a dual release.
Always, yeah. Well, pretty much always.
It releases the same game with slight variations in two versions. In this case, it is Scarlet and Violet. Previous one, Sword Shield, X, Y, Sun, Moon. I can't remember all of them. Why?
Well, that's the clever mechanic, though, isn't it? It's the aspect that everybody wants to fill their Pokédex, but can't without purchasing the second one. Which is actually kind of mean, but quite clever in a financial aspect. Back in the day, it was really hard to fill your Pokédex.
Do they get away with it because they've been doing it from the start? Everyone just accepts up. That's
what
they do.
I think so, yeah, entirely. I think there's the legacy of it that lets them get away with a lot. Like I said, there are literally thousands of people that will buy Pokemon games to collect them all with the same premise as Pokemon. Collect them all. They're
yes,
and they really will. They will buy. I know people who buy Violet and Scarlet to play, and then Violet and Scarlet to keep sealed, and they've done that since longly, like X and Y or Silver, Gold and Silver.
Wow,
because there's that much hype and avid fandom, I suppose it would be, that people do that, and Pokemon know people do that.
And I'm guessing the value of these mint copies, sealed copies, just goes up and up and up.
They generally do. Less so now because of the millions upon millions sold. But yes, you're right. The older generation, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color and the Advance, and even some DS games, those, if you got sealed copies of those are worth a small fortune to some degree.
Wow.
It is mad. It is absolutely insane. Mad. But yeah, there's an aspect now to collecting Pokemon. And it's, yet again, very good marketing, because you think Pokemon, you think collect somehow, be it the cards, the plushies, the toys, and all the other things. So now it's transferred over to the games themselves. People literally just want to collect every Pokemon game that exists, be it the trading card game for the Game Boy Color, and there was Pokemon Conquest, which was this weird Pokemon game combined with like Japanese history, which was like Nobunaga, which was I think a Japanese lord, or
Wow.
Yeah, that was actually not a bad game. But then there was an obsession with collecting them all, which they've done very well marketing wise. And
that was the point of these games since the very start.
Yeah,
100%. Collecting them all.
Yeah, and they've built on that premise. And you're right, there's a legacy to it that people now forgive, because people just buy the two games. They're like, I'll just buy both of them then.
No.
Which is brilliant marketing. It is brilliant. It's like these games. You notice that you can buy them on their own, or you can get the jewel case, which is both.
Oh, there's a jewel case now.
Yeah, for this one, for Brilliant, Diamond, and Shining Pearl, or whatever, and X and Y, and I think the Sun and Moon games. that you could actually buy them as a 2-pack. Which,
I mean,
again,
okay,
marketing-wise...
It's one thing if you and your wife are both playing different versions, or you've got 2 boys who like Pokemon and you could give one to each.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, if you are buying 2 dual copies, that's 4 Pokemon games. If you're buying one to play 2 and to keep 2 sealed, that's a lot of money you don't need to be spending.
Like, it's even for example, Japan, as you can imagine, when they release these Pokemon games, they release a lot of promo stuff with it, be it cards and backpacks and art books and all
merchandise.
And people are actually, fundamentally rich people than I, are actually buying that version too, so that they can get all the other stuff, the Japanese exclusive stuff. And it's expensive. It is expensive. But yeah, it's the fandom of Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
It is the fandom of Pokemon. In that case, you are not getting your value for money.
No,
you're not.
It's so hard because, you know, and we even say this being fans ourselves. You know, we've both got a history with Pokemon. I think to some degree most people have, especially in the say 30s and down. And it is hard to say. These games aren't cheap. They're not overly expensive. They're the normal price point for Switch games, I believe. I don't think they're...
Yeah.
And it's so hard for me to gauge because... I don't know. Can these be patched out on the Switch? I know the Switch does get updates and stuff. Excuse me. But can they receive a 15 gigabyte update for a Switch game?
So I've been playing, since it's released, I've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Oh, yeah.
And that has quite regularly been getting patches upon patches.
Are those just fixes?
Be it events or fixes.
Oh, yeah.
Both. Not a lot of fixes, granted, because it is a Nintendo in-house developed game. So there's no need for patches because it's so...
It's fairly stable, right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yes, which isn't the case with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
No.
But it has been getting patches and updates quite regularly. Not 15 gigs, a couple of minutes, and then it's downloaded and patched.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to handle this. I think because they've already made millions upon millions and are going to keep making millions, they don't feel they need to patch the game.
Now, that would be insulting. That I would. I think you're right. I think they'll sneakily just be like, and now look forward to Pokemon Maroon or whatever the third one. They'll try to distract you from like the bugs in this game, and that I will find that's kind of an insult to the consumer because let's face it, we have been supporting them for years. We are the reason to some degree they've got billions upon billions of dollars. I don't know, like I said, the value for money for this was really hard because if they fix it. Right, if they do patch it out somehow, but I haven't heard anything like that coming, it would be worth it. If they don't, they've kind of sold you a broken egg, so to speak. Which it's a weird one. It's a weird one to score this one on, because if they fix it, like you said, this game would be good.
Agreed. This would be a good game, the first good Pokemon game in a decade. With the value, even with the great co-op. With the entire world of Paldea, the school-going aspect, there are tons of Pokemon to collect. There are a lot of things to actually do in this game.
Yeah.
Just doing them isn't as smooth as everyone needs it to be.
And it's a weird hang-up to have, but it's something in the industry that we kind of, I don't know, not say deserve, but it's now the commonplace. It shouldn't be like this. And we've said it again. This Game Freak doing this, it ain't right. There's like
no. It is a bit difficult to score the value for money. I still can't believe people are spending.
Oh wow! You should
thousands of dollars on collector's editions, more than one, because of the dual release. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. That is such a waste of money. Yeah,
it's like I said. There are people who are. you know, I'm a fan. I also collect things and stuff like that. But there's there's a limit. There's a limit to when it goes to a bit like, you know, you can't eat properly, but you're buying the latest this, or you're not paying your mortgage, but you're buying this. It doesn't. And there are people who are, you know, to some degree that turns into a bit of an illness. There is, you know, there's a. And the marketing of Pokemon kind of builds onto that aspect. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I mean,
the value for money is hard to gauge.
Anyway,
go on. Let's
wrap this up, right?
Yeah. What did we score it then?
Oh wow, George! Oh, what a,
it's a long one.
What a chonker! Pokemon Scarlet
and
Violet. I just got it! Yay! This, to anyone in the dark, Lechonk is one of the best Pokemon in this entire game. It's a little piggy that is just called Lechonk.
Let me just add a little surreal bit that kind of freaked me out. Right? I had a surreal, scary little moment when I had me and my Lechonk, and I was making a bacon sandwich, and I was feeding it to him, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like, where does the bacon come from?
Is it le bacon?
I don't know. I really think, like, are people, my little Lechonk? What I got? Yeah, that threw me. It's like this, you know. That was a bit too much. And another strange thing. Sorry, I know we're finished. Did you notice in the Pokédex entries that seem to be we're eating a lot of Pokemon now? There were so many. No. There were so many entries like this crab type Pokemon is this, and people tried to eat their legs but found them quite poisonous. And I'm like, why are we all of a sudden eating them?
Well, okay, I understand in the Pokemon universe, but in reality, it does make sense because we do try to eat almost every single animal.
But we don't want that in our town. We don't want the realism of real life, like a Lechonk slaughterhouse round the corner. Like,
slaughterhouse?
Yeah, exactly. I don't need that. Thank you very much. Anyway, the scores.
Thanks for that. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the dual release of this Pokemon season. We tallied up our scores, threw it into the bag, went to the Pokestop, got it healed, and Chansey told us that we gave Pokemon Scarlet and Violet a letter grade rating of C-.
Yeah, it's our first C- as well.
Which it is? Oh, you're right. It is. It seems low, but no. That's only because the bar for Pokemon games are so extremely low.
No, I agree entirely.
The bar is so low.
No. That is a good score for it. That's actually a nice score for it.
I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, I think that is right.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet C-, and I am happy with that. It is a fun, broken game.
Yes, it's like if you find the breaks charming, it's quite hilarious. It's another aspect to the comedy. It really is, but also not right. But yeah, it's a fun game.
Right, that was goodness. You're right. That was our Lechonka episode.
It really was.
When's the next? What is the next Pokemon game going to be? Do we know?
No, I don't think so.
Is it going to be another remake?
No, a lot of the time they're going to do expansions. They do a whole what was it? Sword and Shield. They had 2 expansions. Arceus never did.
Oh,
you know, you got to take into account you can't get a Charizard or anything in these yet. So they'll do an expansion where you unlock the Charizard or the Bulbasaur or the Mewtwo.
Do they still do a third entry like Emerald or?
They
Crystal?
haven't done that in a while. They really haven't. It's a bit odd that, but no. Like the last time that happened was that's before Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon got released then with Sun and Moon Ultra Moon, Ultra Sun, which was a bit different. But the one before that, I think it wasn't XY.
Could it be Emerald?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's Emerald, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm sure people will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the last third one they put on. Yeah, it's
do you think it's because the people hold out on buying one of the 2 dual releases only to get the third one, which encapsulates all the content?
I think to some degree, but I think it's the mega money that you can do with expansion packs now.
Okay, alright, that makes more sense. Money.
Like for example, the expansions for Sword and Shield, you had to have a Nintendo subscription, and then you had to pay individual for each expansion, which is fairly common, but it did rake up. They were expensive. Later on, they released, I think, Sword and Shield with the downloadable DLC with it for a certain price. But yeah, they'll do the same with this, because none of the cool Pokemon have been in this yet. So no Mewtwo, no Mew, no Arceus, no...
no Mewtwo?
No Mewtwo.
I need my Mewtwo.
No, exactly.
I need my Totodile.
That's exactly why they release... For that same reason you need them, that's why they release the DLC. And
You're
they'll make money from it.
Trap.
Exactly, you did. That's exactly what they're marketing to. You know,
oh no. Okay. Well, I think we better stop this episode here before it gets even worse. Thank you for listening to this episode of your new favorite podcast, The Critical Arcade. Please tune in next week for another episode. Please, Dave, tell us what's next week's episode going to be.
Next week's episode is I'm sure everyone's favorite kind of... For me, it was my Xbox 360 game. It's Borderlands 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's...
Oh yeah, my favorite as well.
Yeah, I think it was one of those blockbuster come out of a sequel that's better than the original. Again, in my opinion, that just had so much going for it. Storyline, gameplay, co-op. You know, it's one of those... Another game like Pokemon, which I think most people have touched upon and had left a memory or left something to remember on them. Look forward to that.
I think Borderlands 2 is still on top of the chart when it comes to that loot collecting and shooting arcade type game.
Course.
I think Borderlands 2 is still up there.
Yeah, 100%. And it's still a solid game. It still ages well. So, like I said, I'm very much looking forward to that one.
Very much. Borderlands 2, it's the GOAT.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tune in next week for that episode. If you want to get some more Critical Arcade podcast, you can follow me on Twitter at It's Time for Nick, or you could sign up for our Patreon. We release bonus episodes each Thursday for those subscribed to our Patreon, and you get each real episode a week early. So sign up for the Patreon if you can.
Yeah, do
Besides that, Dave, where can they follow you?
Well, they can try following me, but if you do, I will just have to surround you by about 30 Magikarp, just using Splash, annoyingly getting in your way. Yes. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. 30 Magikarp using Splash, going, what the hell noise they are, and they're going to follow you forever.
That is it.
Forever.
It's going to be some GBA ass noise. I guarantee it.
That's right. That's going to be your life.
30 Magikarps are splashing. I think that was a torture tactic they used in the First World War.
Oh, 100%. Like I said,
they would just travel Magikarp with them all over the place.
Yeah, instead of a grenade, it was just a Magikarp.
Splashing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what will happen.
Noise. All right. Thanks for tuning in on this
Thank you very
episode
much,
of the Critical Arcade podcast for this Lechonka of the episode. If you're not tired of us yet, go follow us and tune in next week for another episode of the Critical Arcade podcast. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you.